welcome to another episode of I Understand TV. I'm Josiah Anderson. So today we're going to talk about this trend going around about what is black fatigue. So anyways, I remember watching video from Vince Arvidellison about his thoughts about black fatigue. And said, well, call it the black Democrat fatigue. And I said, okay, that makes much more sense. Because even when I was a Democrat, I noticed that there are all kinds of problems going on within our community, the black community. So when I first heard about this black fatigue start coming out, so anyways, I'm going to try to break this down. So some of you probably don't know what the word fatigue means, but you know what black is. So let's try to break it down. So fatigue, it is a noun. It means extreme tiredness resulting from mental or physical exertion or illness. So tiredness, weakness, exhaustion, or it can mean weakness in materials, especially metal, caused by repeated variations of stress. So, but we're not talking about metal here. We're talking about the black community. So, we're going to talk about black fatigue and also what I have realized all these years and why are people suddenly feeling more comfortable in voicing out the truth about what is going on in the black community. So we're going to talk about all of that in this episode. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay, so are you guys familiar with the Tocqueville effect? So Tocqueville is spelled Tocqueville, Tocqueville. So it is coined from Alexis de Tocqueville's observations in the 19th century. The Tocqueville effect refers to the phenomenon where social frustration and unrest often intensify, not when conditions are at their worst, but when they start to improve slightly. As people's expectations rise with perceived progress, the failure of actual conditions to keep pace can provoke dissatisfaction, anger, or even revolt. So, the Tocqueville effect. So, I guess that's how black liberals feel when it comes to like getting everything they want, like civil rights movement. They have more rights from the civil rights movement and the right to vote, desegregation, and stuff for that matter. Freedom to go to any school they want to. But here's the thing. So anyways, as more rights they have also creates like unrest. Like in 2014 in Ferguson, like 2020 in Minneapolis, and everywhere across the nation with Black Lives Matter and the riots that occur along with it. So, anyway, so it's basically saying, okay, we have what we want, but we want more. So, I remember hearing this once about as more extreme these movements go, so the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, they want to defund the police, and they want to take away all the power from, and they want to classify all white people, of course, with families and with some sort of values as evil, as terrorists, or something of that matter, and they just want to destroy them. Of course, they want any white person to stop their whiteness so that the black person, of course, can live out their life freely without any accountability whatsoever. It's the same thing with the feminism movement that is going on. So it's gone from women wanting to work, wanting to vote, wanting to own a house or something of that matter, to completely shutting men from their lives. Completely. I mean, they want to defeat the patriarchy and putting together some sort of Marxist agenda or something that matters. So that's what the Black Lives Matter movement tried to do, and probably will keep on continue their attempts to do so. So, anyways, about black fatigue. Vince Ellison in his video said to call it black Democrat fatigue, because we're not putting all black people in a pot of boiling water. We're not doing that. But anyways, I've had this side fatigue since even before I was conservative. Of course, I was a liberal, and of course, and I noticed something was very wrong. So, and usually has something to do with culture, the ghetto culture, the hood culture, and it has made its way towards other communities as well, which is appalling, absolutely appalling. The truth is, I do not like the ghetto culture or the hood culture, whatever you want to call it. So no, I do not. So, and it is why that I'm very nervous and also a bit uncomfortable when I'm around these people. Well, I'm uncomfortable around anyone, but most definitely uncomfortable around people who sound like they're from these ghettos, from the hood or whatever. And it's why I prefer to never speak to them. I mean that's how I was raised. So anyways, and it's the ghetto or hood culture that causes all kinds of trouble, all kinds of mess. So when I was in middle school, of course, a lot of teachers quit their jobs during the time I was there. You know why? Because those rowdy students. It was predominantly black school called Fair Park Middle School. It's a charter school now, but it used to be a public middle school. It used to be a high school before it became middle school. So anyways, back to the story. So anyways, yeah, I was in 6th grade. I had this teacher by the name of Mr. Scott. He was my world history teacher. He was white, and like I said, it was predominantly black school. So you know what happened? Of course, in the middle of the school year, he quit his job. He quit because he could not take the constant teasing and all the horseplay that would occur in the classroom. So I guess in a predominantly black school, of course, whenever a white teacher starts coming in, especially in my middle school, black students would get to acting up, especially if it's a white male. But if there's like a black female teacher, of course, yeah, the students would behave. If the black female's like over 40, they would know how to act. But if there's a white male, of course, then they would totally act out of pocket. Totally. So anyways, yeah, my 6th grade teacher, world history teacher, quit his job because those rowdy students. And of course, some of the students would say, oh, but he didn't teach us anything. Well, shut up. Shut up so that you'll learn something. And the same thing happened in 8th grade. My math teacher, Miss Johnson, of course, who was black and probably was over 40. Yeah, she quit because she couldn't take it anymore. And of course, then how did I know that she quit? I was in a class that is next door to her, my Louisiana history class, which I'll get to in a minute. And I heard a door slam and someone storming out. And then my science teacher, who was like 2 doors down, came in and told everyone in the class that Ms. Johnson has quit. She stormed out. Probably because of the horseplay or something like that. And then another student said, but she didn't teach us anything. Do I have to say this again? Shut the heck up so that you'll learn something. And all that horseplay will certainly not make you learn one crapola. And also there was Louisiana history teacher that I had by the name of Miss Sanders. She was white. And yeah, I was her favorite student. Of course, I'm not ashamed to say that. I was her favorite student. Call me a teacher's pet or whatever. I don't care. I was her favorite student because I knew how to act. And the other students did not know how to act. So, anyways, then she quit. About a few months later, she quit. But when my math teacher quit, of course, yeah, they replaced her with another teacher by the name of Mr. Myers. He was white. And of course, the class would start acting up out of pocket. Which is insane. But I knew how to act. And you probably say, oh, good for you. It will be good for you too if you listened. If you're willing to do the same thing as I have. So, I was a pretty good student, pretty quiet student in my middle school year. So anyways, what I still don't get during my time middle school in the course, how were the people that were selected for some sort of student council were selected and not me? Probably because they were more involved or something like that. Well, yeah, being involved is good. So, never mind. I will not even talk about that. Let's talk about black fatigue. So, I just say that I had it with the ghetto culture. And I assume this happens at plenty more schools too. This could be happening now. This could have happened in the last school year, could happen in the upcoming school year. But I say that I have had it. So when I went to Bird, of course, I made predominantly white friends. Now, why is that? Because I just did. Predominantly white friends, acquaintances, whatever you want to call it. And I made hardly any black friends. Hardly, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever you want to call it. So, probably it's because of how I am around people or something like that, but I do not like the ghetto culture. I do not. And in middle school, I was made fun of for that exact, for disliking, well, whatever of that ghetto culture they were into, like the rap music, and it is very sad. It's very embarrassing that rap music, which was made to ruin rather than empower, has made its way towards other communities. It is embarrassing. And it just makes me angry as ever that I'm actually an outcast because I listen to totally different music than others in the black community. So yeah, I might like popular songs every now and then, but not rap music. I don't. Yeah, I only listen to classical, maybe a little bit of jazz, instrumental, Christian, contemporary, gospel. I listen to those, a little bit of rock. Yeah, I listen to those. So anyways, if I'm an outcast for doing that, then by God, let me be an outcast. We all have right to listen to whatever we want to. And I'd encourage me to listen to that crap called rap music, hip hop, or whatever it is, because I believe that it was made to ruin everyone rather than empower everyone. And yeah, there's Christian rap as well, but that's no excuse. That's called sugarcoating. And there's clean versions of it. Well, that's sugarcoating too. And you may disagree. Go ahead. Go ahead and disagree. That is your right to do so. Disagree with me all you want to. But one day, of course, you'll see that I was right. And I have been right about this when I was a Democrat. I had this exact same mindset when I was a Democrat. Now that I'm a conservative, I'm most definitely 100% correct about this. Most definitely. So, anyways, I do have black fatigue. I have black Democrat fatigue. I have ghetto hood culture fatigue. I mean, I just had it. So, and I know that people are feeling very comfortable in voicing out their opinions. I mean, I don't want any race to be suppressed just to make another race feel good about themselves. Don't want that, of course. And black people, if they hear me say this, then I'm considered like an Uncle Tom, a bootlicker for white people. Well, let me be a bootlicker then, because you're being a bootlicker for Karl Marx right now. Being a bootlicker for Vladimir Lenin, bootlicker for communism, Marxism, socialism, feminism, the TQ plus insanity, the Black Lives Matter insanity, being absolute butt wipes for those movements, which are incompatible with American values, which makes me sick to my stomach. So anyways, I don't think that any race should be suppressed. Of course, black supremacy is just as bad as white supremacy. And I don't think that any race is superior to one another. Yeah, I believe that God is superior to everyone. Every single race is superior. God is superior to everyone. There's no such thing as superiority among the races. There should be no such thing as that. And all this tribalism and stuff of that matter among black community, I had enough of that as well. I will most definitely disagree on like 50, 60, 70% of what black community has. On what are the orders? What are the orders or something like that? I don't want to take orders for one race. I never want to do that. I'm not taking any orders. Any commands. So, anyways, yeah, I believe in a colorblind meritocracy. You have affirmative action, you have DEI, which are completely the opposite. I did a video on New Year's Day about DEI and why is it dangerous, and just at the right time, a terror attack in New Orleans, and of course, an incompetent FBI that completely missed this, and city officials in New Orleans have completely missed that, which is ridiculous. And I said that's how dangerous DEI is. I mean, just putting anyone you want to in a high position knowing that they're not qualified for that position. I mean, yeah, this is absolutely sickening. So, yeah, I do have black fatigue, like I said, but I have black Democrat fatigue. I'm not putting all black people in one pot. Not doing that. In fact, I have Democrat fatigue completely. Tired of the Democratic Party telling me that I'm a victim of something. So, anyways, yeah, I want to be part of a political party or a movement where I'm told that I'm not a victim of something, but much rather a victor. I want to be part of that party. Don't want to be part of a party where I'm constantly reminded of slavery, of oppression, the Holocaust, or anything of that matter. I don't want to be reminded of those, because if we're constantly reminded of it, then they think it's grounds to get away with anything you want to. So anyways, they want to use segregation. They want to use black Marxists. They want to use slavery as an excuse just to get back at white people. That's what they want. But I disagree with that. Just because you don't correct the historical wrong by causing another wrong. I mean, like what's happening in South Africa. I mean, apartheid was bad then. What's going on there between the white farmers in South Africa is just as bad as what happened in apartheid. There could have been something else worked out too, but unfortunately for Nelson Mandela, I hate to break it to you, but it's a terrorist. You don't believe me? Search it up. And if you don't believe that, there's a killing of white farmers in South Africa, then watch a few documentaries. Maybe you'll understand. I know I have. The one, Katie Hopkins, Plasmort. Yeah, I checked out that documentary, and it was a heartbreaking documentary. Even though it was made a few years ago, it still rings true. And I guess that's why those South African refugees are welcome in America. They're always welcome. So, anyways, like I said, I have had it with being told that being educated means I'm acting white or something like that. Maybe you should get an education. Maybe it'll be good for you. Try going to school, get a diploma, get your degree, get a GED or something of that matter. I mean, I have my diploma, about to get my degree. You should get yours. And maybe don't sound so uneducated. Try to speak English. Because half of the time I don't understand what the heck you're saying. So try to speak some English and pull your pants up. And act like that you have some common sense. So, anyways, we'll be right back. Okay, everyone, so that is it for this episode. So I'm still working on my book Brainwash, which should be finished by the end of this month or probably beginning of July. I am still delayed about it. Got a few chapters finished, but unforeseen circumstances are delaying the release of the book. So, also, this is the first episode of the new season. So, season 36, be off to a great start. And you should see my Instagram post say, by the numbers. You see an Instagram post that says, by the numbers, and check out the statistics for how I'm doing with my YouTube channel as well as my old one. So, I have made 190 videos. This will be 191. That means I'm about 9 episodes away from the 200th episode ever. That will be likely in August or September when the 200th episode ever will be made. This isn't 200. This won't be the 200th episode for Anderson TV. This will be the 200th episode ever made. So, anyways, that is it for this episode. I'm Josiah Anderson signing off, and do not forget to watch this weekend's presidents. This weekend's presidents will be William Howard Taft and Woodrow Wilson. So that is it. I'm Josiah Anderson signing off. Goodbye, everyone, and have a nice rest of your week.